Jake Paul Joshua.
Oh, Jesus. That's a fucking bad idea. That's a bad idea. But let me tell you what. A lot of people watch that one.
Will you watch it?
Sure. You know what everybody's tuning in for on that one. Then I think everybody's going to get what they've finally been waiting for.
I'm a little fucked up, but will you take care of me forever and ever?
The so-called problem child finally ran out of luck. For years, the world speculated about what would happen when a flashy YouTube experiment collided with a literal heavyweight wall, and on December 19th, we received a sickening answer. This was not just a loss, it was a bone-shattering reality check that left Jake Paul wired shut in a hospital bed.
What's up, guys? The day after the fight. Got out of surgery a few hours ago. They put a plate in my jaw, wired it up. Hurts to talk, so I'm gonna keep it short. Took the L, respect to the man across from me.
It's no longer about the hype, the trash talk, or the pay-per-view numbers. It's about a brutal lesson in the art of the knockout, and now UFC President Dana White is finally breaking his silence. His reaction is sending shockwaves through the entire combat sports world.
Is the burnt bridge with my brother unfixable?
I don't hate your brother. You guys need to fight guys your f***ing same size. When you fought Floyd, you are massive. He did hit you with a fucking bomb, and you fucking ate it. He's gonna fight Gervonta Davis.
Who do you got?
Gervonta, I think, hits way harder than Floyd, but he's too small. Your brother's gonna be able to get inside on him, put his weight on him, tie him up.
I hear your critique on fighting guys the same size as you. Is that why you guys wouldn't let me fight Conor?
Yeah, you're fucking huge. Conor weighs 145 pounds, 155 pounds.
Yeah, but he says he can beat me.
The sixth round was supposed to be the moment Jake Paul proved he belonged, but instead it became the instant his bravado officially died. At the 131 mark, Anthony Joshua delivered a right hand so precise and powerful that it didn't merely end the fight, it effectively dismantled Paul's face. After dodging the inevitable for 5 rounds and surviving 4 previous knockdowns, Jake finally met a wall he couldn't talk his way through. As he slumped against the canvas, the red-hot confidence that once defined his career was replaced by the cold reality of a double mandibular fracture. He didn't just lose, he was physically broken by a man who treated the matchup like a light sparring session, until he decided it was time to go home.
Or Jake would have moved around the ring at 100 miles an hour. There's 2 things I would have done. Tried to shut Jake down at 100 miles an hour, or I would have gone on the back foot. So Jake decided to move around the ring, and I decided to put the pressure on. What I could have done better is a lot of things, 100%. In the fight game, you've seen the amazing fighters that have graced us over the last 100 years, and the expectations that we put on ourselves are immense, but I tried my best. Jake done well while it lasted, but if you remember what I said in the interview with Cameron is, fighting's not just physical, it's psychological. And when you understand the psychological warfare, I did say to you that, Jake, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna see a time when I'm gonna take your soul and you're either gonna give up or you're gonna get knocked out. And unless you have that instinct, you just will never be a good fighter. So I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start. But as we saw tonight, Jake has spirit. He has some heart. He tried his best. And I take my hat off to him because, number one, a lot of fighters haven't got in the ring with me, and Jake did. And secondly, even when he got knocked down, he kept on trying to get up. And I take my hat off to him. So America, I think you have someone who could potentially, if he still has the heart for it, come back again, dust the dirt off his shoulder, and come again and maybe sell out this center sometime in 2026. Maybe against a Gervonta Davis, a Ryan Garcia, who knows?
The hospital aftermath has been nothing short of a horror story for the Paul camp. Surgeons at Miami University Hospital were forced to work overtime to reconstruct his jaw, ultimately inserting 2 titanium plates on each side of his face to stabilize the shattered bone. The damage was so severe that several teeth had to be completely removed, leaving Jake confined to a strictly liquid diet for the foreseeable future. X-ray images circulating on social media reveal a jawbone snapped clean in 2, a grim souvenir from a fight many experts warned should never have been sanctioned in the first place. Despite the agony, Jake's attempt at humor, claiming he wants Canelo in 10 days, feels less like real toughness and more like a desperate effort to stay relevant.
When Jake Paul lost to Fury, I haven't really paid attention to Jake Paul.
I have no.
Jake
I
Paul's-
have love for Jake too. I don't.
Wait,
have, I don't know when a
Jake
fight's
Paul's
happening. I
are
really
all
don't.
the same. He fights older people that are smaller. It's all the same shit.
Am I not remembering correctly? Didn't Jake ask if you could make a amends between them?
I don't think it's ready for that yet.
Well, it's not that. I don't hate
Yeah.
Jake Paul. Jake Paul's doing his thing.
UFC CEO Dana White didn't even attempt to hide his "I told you so" expression when the news broke. For years, Dana had been the loudest voice in the room, labeling this crossover boxing era a clown show, and this result served as his ultimate vindication. He didn't mince words, stating that there are levels to this sport that no amount of marketing or YouTube magic can overcome. White had previously joked that people were only tuning in to see Jake finally get off in the ring, and watching the influencer-turned-boxer head into major surgery only reinforced his belief that the matchup was an effing bad idea from the jump. To Dana, this wasn't a tragedy. It was a predictable outcome of someone playing a game they were never invited to.
Paul, what'd you think of the fight?
Oh, God. I think the gig is up. I'm just tired of Jake Paul as a boxer. I think he's done a fantastic job. He dressed up like Hulk Hogan. I just don't know how many more times Netflix is going to go to bat for him. But I think they will one more time because, you know, the axiom is basically if you draw money, you're going to be getting chance after chance until you're not drawing money. And then you'll still get a couple more chances after that because he did draw money. And that's kind of where he's at right now. You know, he's going to draw with Tyson. He's going to draw on this one. And so he's going to get a couple of more chances, you know, with Netflix. And they'll pay that, you know, good for him. They'll pay that money. But, man, these are, you know, this was just a bad fight. And made boxing look bad. Made boxing look bad in many ways. You know, especially it just was a circus. And the guy, you know, going for takedowns and the ref's not doing anything. I thought the ref was terrible. Thought Joshua, you know, was not good. Hurt himself, and then he even admitted it. And Jake was just out there not trying to win a boxing match. He was trying to survive and get the moral victory so he can go out there and be, you know, oh, you know, I lasted 6 rounds with Anthony Joshua. And he survived 6 rounds with him.
He survived all right.
But I
he
mean,
never quit. Like somebody I know.
The physical disparity between the two men on fight night was almost uncomfortable to watch. Joshua entered the ring as a massive 243 pounds of lean muscle, looking every bit the two-time unified champion, while Paul appeared significantly smaller at 216 pounds. Analysts are now labeling the bout a Tom and Jerry show, with Jake spending most of the time running and clinching just to survive. The controversy surrounding the Florida State Athletic Commission is reaching a boiling point, with critics like Gareth A. Davies calling the sanctioning irresponsible. When a novice is allowed to step in with one of the world's most dangerous finishers, the outcome isn't competition, it's liability.
He appeared to carry Jake Paul for a while, but told me afterwards that he could see that Jake Paul was being evasive. I spoke to him personally, and he decided just to slowly marinate Jake Paul. Obviously hit him with a huge right hand midway through the 6th round to end the bout. Broke Jake Paul's jaw. He ended up in hospital, kind of rearranged his teeth a little as well, but was very clear afterwards to give great praise to the bravery and courage of Jake Paul that everybody saw. I mean, delusionally optimistic he really is. Jake Paul should go and fight YouTubers and influencers now. I don't think this kind of bout should be sanctioned again. But Joshua, of course, now wants to fight Tyson Fury. He's called him out, and I hope we get that fight in 2026 after both of them have had warm-ups. I understand Joshua will have a warm-up fight in Riyadh late in February 2026. It's all done here. It's over. It's a one and done. I hope it doesn't happen again.
Even within the Paul family, the tone has shifted from arrogance to damage control. Logan Paul was seen emotionally defending his brother, insisting Jake had actually won 4 rounds before the lights went out. He even praised Jake's toughness, saying he fought on with a snapped jaw. But the combat sports community isn't buying the heroism narrative. Figures like Daniel Cormier and Carl Froch have been ruthless, suggesting Joshua carried Jake into the later rounds simply to give the Netflix audience its money's worth before finishing him off. Froch went as far as to call the event unedifying, arguing that the spectacle did more to damage boxing's integrity than it did to build Jake's legacy.
Jake Paul was just on pure survival mode from round 1 right through to round 6. I don't know if he's got a moral victory going 6 rounds. Maybe he has. People might give him credit for going 6 rounds. But he got in there and just survived. He just went in there and ran like a chicken from round 1 right through to round 6 when he got splattered. And it's like, it's just, you can't really justify what he's done, because this is supposed to be a professional sanctioned boxing match, and I think it brings the integrity of the sport down when somebody like AJ, who's a 2-time world champion, can't get in there and just completely dismiss somebody like Jake Paul, who I've said for ages can't fight. He's not a professional boxer. It's just AJ following him around, touching him to the shoulder. Round 1 came and went. Round 2 was much of the same, bit slow. I think AJ got caught with an overhand right at one stage, but sometimes when you're out in the rain, you're going to get wet. It was following him around, taking his eye off the ball, probably a bit undermotivated, thinking, what's this guy doing that's in front of me? Jake Paul was just running left to right, ducking low, falling on the floor, throwing a couple of wild swings, and one did get through, but it just bounced off AJ's chin like water off a duck's back. It was nothing. And then the only reason Anthony Joshua got the fight finished, the sad thing is, I think if Jake Paul was fit enough and he had the energy and the engine, which he hasn't got, because he's not a professional athlete. He goes in the gym every day and he trains and he's fit and he trains like a pro, but that don't make you a professional fighter. What makes you a professional fighter is building yourself up through the ranking system, earning your position in the professional sport. And
the warnings from peers like Conor McGregor now seem eerily prophetic. Before the opening bell, McGregor tweeted that the fight was a layup for AJ and later hinted that Jake would be permanently altered by the encounter. He was right. Taking a clean shot from a heavyweight champion doesn't just leave a bruise. It changes the way your brain and body function. As Jake sits in a hospital room, unable to eat solid food and facing months of rehabilitation, the question of whether the payday was worth the permanent hardware in his face is the only thing people are talking about.
6th round before getting his face caved in. Literally, you can see the x-rays of his jaw online. Jake did not beat the count after absorbing the right hand that broke his jaw, and AJ got the KO. Guys, let me come out and say, the story to me coming out of this fight is Jake Paul. This dude is a maniac in the best sense of the word. And I'm not going to try and hear any Jake Paul slander today on the show. Guys, nope. He got in the ring with a former Olympic gold medalist and heavyweight champion of the world who's 37, he's not 45 years old. He's still fighting, guys. Dubois knocked him out. He was in that fight with Dubois. He was a top heavyweight. Yes. Yeah, Usyk beating him a couple times. Usyk, one of the all-time great fighters, and those were competitive fights. Yes. That Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul gave up enormous size, experience, talent, everything. And guys, let me tell you something. If all of us right now, you've been retired how many years?
10, 12.
10 years? Like that, I don't think combined, including you, Malik, we get into the 6th round with Anthony Joshua. If Anthony Joshua is coming to hurt you, which he was, and Jake Paul was tackling his legs. He was trying to use takedowns. He was exhausted. Yes. He was running. Yeah! Are you joking? Right. No kidding! Yes. He's trying not to get killed. Yes. And by the way, I know it was a lot like William Skull and Canelo Alvarez, where Skull was kind of outlanding Canelo upstairs, but there was nothing on the shots. But the fact is, actually, Jake Paul landed more clean punches to the head than Anthony Joshua did before the end of the fight. What he did was amazing. Yes. And guys, he also did something else by taking this fight. What Jake did was retroactively justify fighting a guy like Tank Davis, or even trying to make that fight, because what Jake is demonstrating here is, okay, everybody, you're accusing me of having to fight an ancient Mike Tyson, or a tiny Tank Davis, or an old MMA fighter. I'm really thinking about how to make a global event that people are interested in.
Social media sentiment has been a mix of "I told you so" and genuine concern for the sport's safety. Across Reddit and X, fans point out that while Jake showed heart, he also proved he is nowhere near a world-class level. The Paul Joshua hashtag is flooded with clips of the final blow, with many users noting the referee probably should have stepped in much earlier. Even with titanium plates holding his jaw together, the problem child now faces a crossroads. Does he return to his own weight class as a humbled man, or does he continue chasing these dangerous Goliath matchups until something even worse happens?
But in the 6th round, you could just tell that this fight was over. You knew that Anthony Joshua was going to eventually land something that hurt Jake Paul. And you know how you know the boxing world wanted it to be brutal? Because Rosendo was sitting here and he goes, I hope he gets knocked out bad. He didn't want him to get TKO'd. They wanted Paul to get absolutely destroyed. And honestly, that right hand, oh my God, he took all of that right hand. You could see in his face, he was like, okay, now I understand boxing. Now I understand, like, at its worst, what boxing can be. Because he got hit clean by one of the biggest punchers, acclaimed, a lot of accolades, world champion heavyweight, and he went down and didn't get up. And honestly, I was hoping he didn't get up because it was only going to get worse. I thought Francis should have stayed down when Joshua hurt him bad. But a lot of times fighters just don't really want to give up on themselves, and that's why they get hurt worse. But it was exactly what it needed to be tonight for this fight and for this fight. It was fun. It was crazy at times with the wrestling and all the grabbing and the clenching, the referee saying the fans didn't pay for this shit, all the dirty tactics. And it ended in the way that it should.
The lesson of December 19th is clear. You can't shortcut your way into the heavyweight elite without paying a price. Anthony Joshua didn't just win a fight. He reminded the world that boxing isn't about views or followers. It's about the physics of power. While Jake Paul might be loaded from the hundreds of millions at the gate, he's now learning that all the money in the world can't make a liquid diet taste like victory. This wasn't just a knockout. It was the end of a very loud, very expensive experiment that left its lead subject shattered in more ways than one. In the end, this Miami thriller served as a wake-up call for the entire influencer boxing industry. It's one thing to fight retired MMA stars or fellow YouTubers, but it's another entirely to step into the path of a focused world-class heavyweight. Jake Paul's enlightening experience has left him with a face full of metal and a career that now demands a serious reality check. Was this the moment the problem child finally grew up, or was it just the most expensive jaw-breaking in history? Either way, the silence from the Paul camp lately speaks louder than any of their pre-fight trash talk ever did.
Big fair play to Jake Paul. Like, Jake Paul done what anyone would do if they stepped in the ring with an experienced fighter that they know they can't compete with. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if me and you was to spar, if you wanna not get KO'd immediately, you don't stand in the middle and engage with me. Why would you do that?
I'll take my chances, to be fair.
Fair enough.
No,
Hugging.
make it ugly as you can.
What else are you supposed to do? You're clearly not going to defeat me if you decide to box me. So you have to use something else. That's what Jake done. He done it for as long as he could. He realized AJ's strong. I'm not going to battle with him in the clinch. I'm just going to drop to the ground. As I've said, my guy, that referee, he refereed Jake and Neeson Kip. He knows that ref. He thought that ref would allow him. In his mind, you see when you're the A side and you ain't seen the dirty side of boxing, you think that everything and everyone around it's in your favor. He thought that referee was going to let him keep falling, pick him up, just dust off his gloves and continue the fight. When the referee said to him, bro, stop doing that, he was thinking, oh my God, even the ref that knows me, yeah, is on me. AJ's on me, my corner's on me, the ref's on me, I'm getting tired, this guy's strong. Like, that is literally what happened. But who could blame him though? Like, I rate Jake for doing what he done tonight. Like, he lasted for as long as he could, and that was the mission.
We'd love to hear from you. Do you think Jake Paul will make a comeback after the devastating defeat? Who should he fight next? Let us know in the comments. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring the bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, and we'll catch you in the next video.